So, today we're going to work on putting in quizzes into HMH so that we can administer them online to the students. There's a couple reasons why. I did a survey to the teachers. Number one, they want to do more online testing, which I was shocked. You know, I can see doing more online, using more online resources, but they actually want to do more online testing. This allows us to do it. Okay? And the second one is the way that they input some of their answers into questions is similar to the SBAC, and with us working on improving our SBAC scores, that one of the problems that the students have is actually inputting the information correctly into the SBAC test. Okay? So here we know this is where we log in, username, password. This should be given to you by the district already. Okay? So here it is after you log in. Your home screen, right? Now it's real easy to create these quizzes, believe it or not. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click right here on resources. Okay? When the resources pop up, click on assignments. You just scroll down a little bit and you'll get to the assignments. Okay? Now, when we're in the assignments, you have to select your particular class, and the class is set. The class code is set by the district. So when you go into your roster for your classes, you'll find your class code for whichever class you choose. So like these were all my class codes for the year. So whichever one I am talking about or whichever class I'm assigning it to, this is what I have to select. So by my roster, I know these are like my IM3 classes, these are my IM2 classes, and these are all from first semester. Okay? So today we're going to work on integrated math 3. And I'm just going to pick any one of my classes. Now, when I set this up in the very beginning through HMH, I had already assigned a textbook to the class. Okay? If you need help on assigning a textbook to the class, we can go through that another time. It's actually very easy to do. But you see, when I select my integrated math 3, my integrated math 3 book pops up. Okay? Now, we want to create a quiz for them, right? Right now, we're currently working on Module 18. And as you're scrolling down, you see this only goes to Module 3. Okay? So up here at the very top, see next 25? We're going to click until we get to 18. Got to go a few times. There's 9, 12. Let's see, that's 12 through 15. 6, 17, one more. And there's 18. Yes.
So it only shows how many at one time?
I believe there's only 25 per.
So it shows you 25, so that's what you had to count.
Yeah, but what it's showing you is it shows you in English and in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
So you can assign, if you have a student in your class that's an ELL, okay, then you can actually assign, and they're Spanish speaking, you can assign them the Spanish version of the same quiz or test or whatever it is to the student. And because I'm going to show you how we can select just individual students. So you'll be able to assign, like if I wanted to give the Module 18 unit, and I have one that barely speaks English, I can assign this to that one particular student, and it's the same questions, just in their native language, and they have a better chance of being successful. Okay? Okay, so on here, let's say we want to pre-test them. We want to know what they know before, right? Okay? Before we do any assigning, let's view the test and see what kind of questions is it going to ask them. So just click on View. Okay? And then this pops up, right? Okay. These are all of the questions. So we can see from right here, number one, we can tell exactly how many questions they're going to have. They're going to have 9 questions. These are the questions they're going to get. However, when I've administered this in the past, what I've noticed is that what it does is it changes the order of these on the students. So even if you assign this at home, it's going to be given, you know, in different orders, so they're not going to get the same exact order. And it also changes the numbers. So if they're on the phone, FaceTiming or something like that, and I found this on a previous quiz, they tried to cheat, you know, they wanted to copy each other and give the same exact answers. Well, they just go through and like right here, they'll change this radius. They'll do to 15, they'll do 20, they'll just do all sorts of different numbers. The kids will have the same exact question, but they'll have different numbers, so if they're trying to do the work together, they actually have to understand the question or read the fact that the numbers are changing. Okay? So, here's all the questions that they're going to be asked, 1 through 9. Now, with the SBAC, I know that they're starting to drive really, really big on what standards are provided for every single one of them, right? So look right here, if you click on View Standards, it actually pops up the standard to the California Common Core Math Standard for that particular question. And that makes it easier for us because then when we get the results back, it does the same thing. Like when we get the results from the quiz back, it tells us exactly what standard we have to go back over again. So we can use that data to now drive further instruction. And it helps us out. And I know that's something big that the school's going over right now. Okay? You can also print the assignments. So I found that I've got some students that haven't turned in the proper forms to be able to use this yet. Or when they turned in the form, the parents said, no, I want them to not be able to do anything online in school, only at home. So they can't do this, right? Well, we can print it off for them, and you can hand it to them. So what I do is I just keep like a little list. I've got, out of 175 students, I've got 3. So it's very, very, very small, right? Print off the assignment for the student and hand it to them and say, here you go, and then just collect it from them when everybody else turns it in. So you're still giving them the same exact advantages as everybody else. Okay? So, are there any questions up to this point? So we can see all the questions, we can view the standards if we want to, we can print it off for those students that need it, right? Okay?
So you're just reviewing it right now?
We're just reviewing. We haven't even assigned it yet.
Okay.
That's just the review part. Okay? Let's close that part out now. Okay, so we want to do this one. We want to, let's say we want to edit this, because one of the concerns I had was that teachers say, well, what if I don't like the question? What if I want to change it, right? Okay. You can see right here, this right here is the assignment right now, as it is. Okay? Here are all the questions that are in there. And then over here, I can select different questions. So let's say we're doing 2 different sections. We want to give a quiz or a test on 2 different sections. I can come over here and I can modify this. I can rename it to, homework or whatever. Okay? Assign it as homework. It's still going to be high school. We can change it to the name of it so that we know what we're assigning to them. And then over here, we can pick different modules. So if let's say we went back to 17 and we wanted to give a 17-18 quiz, right? Because that's what we've gone over for the past 2 weeks. Now I can come in here, and if I want to change any of these questions, I can remove them because we just saw them all, right? We can print off a copy so we'll know exactly what questions there are, okay? We can go through and edit them that way. And then you can come in here, and you can click on other questions. Let's say this one right here. Well, I want to see, what does that ask? Here's the question. When you hit view, right? Okay, well, I don't like that question. Let's go on to the next one. View. Give it a second. Okay, that one looks a lot better, right? So when we close it, right here, you see the 2 arrows? We can punch the arrow, and look, it's added it into our quiz. And so now we have 10 questions instead of 9. And I can continue to build this, and we can make it 20 questions. Okay? Yes.
Can you get rid of a question?
I can. Let's say this one right here, I didn't like when we reviewed it, right? I didn't like it. You just hit the back arrow, and it goes away. Okay? I know, there's a lot to it, right? Okay. So when we're done with everything, we can hit preview, look at it, go through it again, make sure that everything is in there that we want. All right, here's all the questions. If we're going through it again and we're saying, oh, I don't like something, you still have a final chance to remove the question. Okay? And now we will save this, okay? So we're going to take this one and we're going to change it. We can change it any way we want, and let's just hit save. All right? So now when we come in here, if we come in here and now, right here, we're going to assign. Once we've changed it, we're going to assign it, okay? This is the part where it gets a little tricky on the assigning. So click on assign and you'll see what pops up. Sometimes you have to blow this up for it to work a little better. But you can see, here's the test that we're going to assign them, okay? In here, we can give the students any notes we want to do, anything to do, right? Like go back and look at the chapter before doing this or something like that, or, you know, you can use your notes. Any notes we want to give to them, we can do that here. Dates and duration right here. You can make this open to them always. Like it never shuts down, right? So if you wanted to create something for them to practice on all the time, to go back and continuously practice on, you can always make it available. Or you can change it, okay? So let's say we want them to take it this Friday, right? So today is what, Tuesday the 6th, 7, 8, 9, so let's say we're going the 9th. And how many days? We give them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so 4 days, so we're at the 13th, right? 9, 12, 13, so we change this, click down to the 13th. Okay. Now, on the time here, this time, one of the things I found out by working with it, the time is East Coast time. So right now, this would be set up to open up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, close at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right? I like to open them up at 7 a.m. our time. So we got to think East Coast time, so I usually set it for 10 a.m. to start. Okay? Give them that time. Then I go through and I close it, and I close it at 10 p.m. Now, why do I do it that way? Because now I'm opening it up Friday morning at 7 a.m., right? So when they log in, they're going to see it first thing, before school even starts, it's there. As soon as the library opens on Friday morning, it's there, it's ready to go. Okay? So now they have Friday morning to log in and take it. They've got Saturday to go to any library if they don't have a computer at home. You've got Sunday. And then the reason I do it for 7 p.m. on Monday is the same thing. Oh, they forget over the weekend, right? You know, they're going to forget. So we remind them on Monday, hey, did you take the quiz? No? You've got till 7 o'clock tonight to finish it up. All right? So that way they can go in and boom, they'll be able to take it. You know, in my classroom, I've got a couple computers, so they can come in here and they can take it, but if you don't have that luxury, the library's open after school. They can go to the library, there's a bunch of computers in there, there's really no reason for them not to take this. All right? So we're giving them plenty of time. Now remember that one student we had that didn't speak English, right? Okay, let's say it's this one right here. So I'm going to assign them another quiz. So we're going to uncheck them from this one, because we're going to go, remember, we're going to go back and we're going to assign them the one in Spanish, right? Okay? So uncheck them from here, then scroll all the way down. Okay? Sometimes this doesn't show everything, it's kind of stubborn, but down at the bottom, there it goes. Look at, we can restrict how many times they can take the test or the quiz. So if we want them to be able to take it one time, right? Or access it one time, you just click on it and click once. So now, they can start the test as many times, they can only start the test one time, but they can go through and they can save it closed as they work, okay? But they can only access it that time in order to finish it. So this is basically their submit times, okay? How many times to score the test? You give them one time. Give them their best one score, right? Take the quiz once, score it once, right? Okay? This part right here for first try only, that's only going to depend on if we do it more than once, then we can get their highest scores or whatever, okay? So if we're going to give them multiple times to be able to do this, then we can change, okay, what kind of score do we want, all right? Randomize the order of multiple choice. This one they have not opened up to us, so we can't do it. I would love it if they would, because it'd be great, wouldn't it? Then every time it would come up, it would just randomize every single order. We could also, with the students, we can tell them, okay, you can see your score once you hit submit, so you know exactly what you got. Or we can hide it and make them, you know, wait until we give them the grades. They can view the test after they're done. So once they hit submit, they can go back and look at the test, and it gives them all the correct answers so they know what they missed. Okay? And then They may see the correct answers for the missed items, and that's the one where, you know, if you want them to be able to see it or not. Okay? Once you're done with everything, down here at the very bottom, hit submit, and your class now has the test on the date that it's assigned. Okay? Are there any questions on any of that? I know there's a lot, right? So if you look at the PowerPoint that I handed to you, a lot of this is already done in there step by step. Okay? So I've redone it step by step in the PowerPoint for you so that you can see pretty much everything that we went over. All right? And you can practice it in your classroom. And that way, if you have any questions or anything, you know, you can always come back and ask. All right? So, are there any questions on this? Or are there anything that we would like to modify? Anything you want to see again? No?
No, I think this explains it in the
Yeah.
handout also.
Yeah, I tried to make that so that it would follow this a lot. Okay?
Are most of the questions just having numerical answers?
No, there are some that are explanations as well.
And the system grades those as well?
This system will grade them because they'll look for certain things in it. Sort of like when the on the SBAC test where they have to write in statements, they're looking for specific things in some of the statements.
Do you find that when the system is grading such statements, it's fair?
Not really. I find even when the kids come and talk to us with the SBAC test, right? The biggest part, the problem that the students have is when they're entering questions, the answers, the solutions in here, right? Let's say we have a solution where we're working with powers and we know it's supposed to be 2 to the x, okay? Or if we're working with functions where we have f of x is equal to something, right? Where the students have problems is they can't put this part in, or when they're putting the answer in, they'll write fx equals 2, and then they'll put the little caret and they'll put x, right? This is what the students put in, this is what the system looks for, and it marks them wrong.
So they're not familiar with the keypad, or use of the keypad?
Exactly. It's the use of the keypad. It's also the use of, in the system, just like on some of our other online tests that we've given them so far, there's little calculator buttons for them to hit, for them to pop up to be able to do this. And I think by giving them more of these quizzes and getting familiar with a lot of those features, it'll help them out on the SBAC, because this is where they get hit on the SBAC really hard. And the students will tell you that.
Yeah, they might understand the concept, but still get it wrong.
Exactly. We've found, even giving them online tests right now, that we've been giving that are similar to the SBAC type of questions, the way that the students are putting them in is not the way that they are looking for them. So I think that's why if we do more of these, we'll get more practice at it. And the more practice that we get to the students, the better off they'll be when it comes down to it.
Does the same input, is it the same input, the calculator that pops up, is it the same one here that it is on our online test?
Items.
It's almost
Yes,
exact. It's
it
almost
is.
identical. There are some little tweaks and things to it, but most, believe it or not, most of this is by keypad. So their calculator, it's very, very basic compared to the one on Edams. Where the one on Edams gives us the 3 boxes,
Yeah.
right? That one only gives them the 1 box. It doesn't. The letters they have to put in from the keypad.
Which I think is better, but.
So do I.
Edams is weird, but yeah, okay.
Okay. So do I. Because that one, I agree with you. It's easier to hit the letters on the keypad. Okay. Good. Any other questions or no? No? Okay, when you get back, assign one to your classes, okay? Find out what kind of problems you're gonna have with it, and then let me know, or we'll get back together in a couple weeks and see what kind of things we can make, or any questions I can answer for you about them at that point, okay? Very good. Thank you.